This will be a video in which we take all sorts of grammatical concepts and skills and place them all together in a flowing context so that we can see what the language looks like when grammar and context work together. So if you want focused studying into each individual grammatical skill or concept, you can watch individual videos made for each of them. Now, as we always do, we will be eavesdropping the conversation between A and B so that we can use their conversation as material for learning Korean. And today, I'm going to have A start the conversation by asking B, who looks very, very tired, "Did you sleep a nap today?" Now, as you can see, in English, when you're using the noun nap, the verb that you will use to modify it would usually be take. Take a nap. But as you can see here, in Korean, when you're using nap, the verb that you will use to modify it will be sleep. So it's not take a nap, it's sleep a nap. Now, of course, first of all, placing the auxiliary verb did in a question sentence where you already have a verb is not something that you would do in Korean. So we're going to take it away. However, if we do take it away, there is a fundamental issue, right? Which is the fact that now nothing is indicating past tense. So therefore, in this type of a situation, the verb has to do it itself. So we're going to say slept. And, of course, no you. You is almost always too obvious according to the context, therefore will be omitted. Now, because if I'm calling someone you, it usually means one of two things or both. It means either that I am directly looking at you as I'm talking to you, or you are the only one participating in this conversation with me right now. Whatever the situation may be, well, it's too obvious that, of course, I'm talking to you. And no us and thus, no articles in Korean. So therefore, we are left with the verb sleep, the object nap, and time today. Of course, we're going to go by the order of time, object, verb. Time, object, verb. Therefore, the Korean sentence will look like 오늘, 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 today in orange, 낮잠, 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 nap in blue. And then, what is the display form of the verb sleep? It is 자다, 자다, 자다. Now, what is a display form? A form of a verb or adjective that ends with ta at the end. Now, why do I call it a display form? Well, literally because display forms are not for actual usage. They are only to be displayed in the dictionary. So, if we were to actually use it, we have to take away the ta ending and change it into a new ending that does have an actual grammatical function or attribute. So, changing the ending of a word to indicate grammatical function or attribute, well, that is called inflection. So therefore, if you need some catching up to do with inflection, which is by far the most important aspect of learning Korean, well then, go to our inflection course playlist, and there you can catch up and then ultimately start better keeping up with these grammar practicing videos. So, because we took away did, we're not going to say sleep in present tense. We're going to say slept in past tense. So, which means that I don't want the ta ending. I want the ending that indicates actual form, past tense, which belongs to inflection route number 1. So let's go to inflection route number 1. Because the soyo ending that indicates actual form, past past tense belongs to inflection route number 1, we will apply the rules of inflection route number 1. So, what are the rules? The rules are, if you have a display form that ends with the a vowel, once ta is removed, well then, we are looking at a very, very friendly situation, right? It's simple. Remove ta, and then immediately attach the new ending. Now, inflection isn't often this friendly and simple, so let's enjoy when we can. So, we removed ta, let's immediately attach the new ending, and now we have 잤어요, 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 which is the actual form past tense of the verb sleep, which is slept. So now we inflected the display form of the verb sleep into its actual form, past tense, slept. So therefore, we can actually use it, and now we have the full sentence. 오늘 낮잠 잤어요? 오늘 낮잠 잤어요? 오늘 낮잠 잤어요? And, as I always say, the best way to change a statement, a declarative sentence, into a question, and also the other way around, is, ironically speaking, to change nothing. Simply, if you want to indicate that it's a question, just raise your tone at the very last syllable when speaking, and place a question mark when writing, and of course that includes texting. So therefore, if there wasn't a question mark, it could have been, I slept a nap today. However, because there is a question mark, now we have it as a question. Did you sleep a nap today? So now, let's take a look into what B has to say as an answer. B is going to say, no, I worked all day. Now first, we will remove I. I will be omitted because it is too obvious according to the context. Of course I'm talking about I. You asked me if I slept a nap or not. So of course if I'm going to answer, of course I'm going to talk about I. Which leaves us with the verb worked, and we're going to use all day as time. And of course, no isn't even technically a part of the sentence, so let's first get it out of the way. 아니요, 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 no. And then, of course, we're going to say time first and then verb last. So all day worked. Now, let's take a look into what we will usually do if we have all in front of some kind of a time word, a word that indicates period of time, duration of time. So, usually what you will do is, when you have all in front of a time word, you will place the time word first in Korean and then place behind it 내내. And 내내 will grammatically play the role of all. So for example, if we're going to say all winter, winter is also a time word. It indicates period of time. So therefore, we can say 겨울 내내, 겨울 winter 내내. So all winter, 겨울 내내. So if you want to say it was cold all winter, I was sick all winter. For another example, if you want to say weekend, weekend is also a time word. It indicates period of time. So we're simply going to, once again, place 주말, which is weekend, the time word in this case, and just place 내내 behind it. So once again, 내내 is playing the role of all. So all weekend. 주말 내내, 주말 내내. Now this is what you will usually do if you have all in front of some kind of a time word. But you can see that I am placing heavy emphasis on usually. there are, in large, typically two exceptions to this rule. That is, day and night. When you say all day and all night, those are, in large, typically the two exceptions that will defy this rule. All day and all night, they have their own words. All day will be 하루 종일, 하루 종일, all day. And all night will be 밤새, 밤새, 밤새. So you can see that they do not follow the most commonly used conventional rule that will apply when you place all in front of some kind of a time word. So we do have one of the two exceptions in all day, 하루 종일. So this is what we will use. And then, what is the display form of the verb work? 일하다, 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 work. And you can see that the tip when it comes to pronunciation is applying. Now, the tip is, if you have some kind of an H sound in the middle of a word, somewhere in the middle of a word, think of it as practically silent. However, do give it a clear H sound if it's at the very start of a word. So with 하루 종일, I will clearly give it an H sound, 하루, but with 일하다, I am not going to say 일하다, I'm just going to say 일하다, as if the H is not there at all. So, we have the display form of the verb work, but of course, I do not want its display form. I will inflect, change the ta ending that indicates display form into an ending that indicates actual form, past tense. And once again, of course, that ending belongs to inflection route number 1. So, what are the rules? The rules are, within inflection route number 1, if you have a display form that ends with the ha syllable, once ta is removed, you will apply a 3-step formula. Step number 1, remove ta, which we already did. And then step number 2, change the ha syllable into he. And then step number 3, now you can attach the new ending. So according to step number 2, we have he. And then according to step number 3, now we can attach the ending. And now what do we have? We have the actual form, past tense of the verb work, which is worked. 일했어요, 일했어요, 일했어요. 아니요, 하루 종일 일했어요. 아니요, 하루 종일 일했어요. 아니요, 하루 종일 일했어요.